Welcome to Centinela de Cristo.
Blessings, this is Pastor Luis Luciano from Oklahoma. Thursday, February 20th. Christ has overcome the world. If everything occurred according to God's ideal will, there would never have been evil, but only the perfect bliss of love and harmony. Eventually, the universe will be restored to this perfect, ideal will of God. In the meantime, God is working out His will in a way that takes into account the free decision of His creatures. Imagine a baking competition in which all participants are required to use some particular set of ingredients, but they can add any other ingredients they want in order to bake any kind of cake they want as well. In the end, whatever cake a baker ends up making will be determined, at least partially, by some ingredients that the baker did not choose. Similarly, in this limited respect, because God has committed Himself of respecting creaturely freedom of the kind necessary for love, many of the ingredients that make up world history are not chosen by God, but are actually the opposite of what God desires. In this view, divine providence is not simply one-dimensional, as if God unilaterally controls everything that happens. Rather, this requires at least a two-dimensional view of God's providence. Some things in this world are caused by God, but other occurrences are the result of the free decisions of creatures. As all are evils, many things happen that God does not want to happen. Read John 16:33. What hope, even amid tribulations, does the text offer us? Particularly in times of suffering or trial, people's faith may waver because they hold the mistaken belief that God will or should spare them from suffering and trials in this life. But Jesus tells us of a very different story, warning His followers they will experience trials and tribulations in this world, but there is hope. For Christ has overcome the world. John 16:33. The fact that we encounter suffering and trials does not mean that this is what God ideally wants for us. We must always keep in mind the big picture, the great controversy. However, we can be confident that while evil itself is not necessary for good, God can bring good even out of evil events. And if we trust God, God can use even our sufferings to draw us closer to Him and motivate us to be compassionate and to care for others.